The main build for Mauxir Shadoka is the support build focused on buffing your ballistic DPS characters. It's pretty simple, you just have to use your support skill and attack the Kebeche with your ballistic main DPS. This does not work with skill-based DPS characters like Haru Absconditus, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's talk about her optimal weapons now. Alloy Truth is an incredible support weapon with a massive attack buff when it's tier 2. If you're aiming for high ranks for Neural, you should get tier 2 Alloy Truth and build max HP for Shadoka. But if you're wondering if you should pull just one copy of Alloy Truth, I would say you can make do with tier 5 Wave once you farm her third manifestation. But Wave is not very good without M3, so while you farm M3, you should use Frigate Bird in the meantime. Make sure to farm tier 5 Wave before the event ends if you intend to use it. For her logistics, Amarna Squad is the best logistics set, and it's a game-changing set because it's the new meta for supports now. The 30% ballistic damage and 20% attack buffs make a huge difference for your main DPS. Unlike the previous events, you definitely want to farm at least the max HP and skill haste set for Shadoka. You don't even have to aim for the highest number for these two substats, but you should at least have a set with these two substats on all three logistic officers. If you're speedrunning for a high score in Neural Simulation, you can farm for max HP and alignment index instead. I recommend farming more sets of Amarna Squad for other supports too before this event ends. Her Neural skill priorities are pretty straightforward. You just want to level up her support skill clusters first, then ultimate, and then standard skill. And for her manifestations, M1 is a must. You need the crit rate for your main DPS, who should either be a sniper or a shotgunner. M3 is what I would recommend because that extra duration is pretty necessary for you to have a smooth rotation where you can just keep spawning Kebeches and shooting them. Her M5 though is the best M5 in the game since it adds an additional 10% to the damage buff of the Kebeche, which is huge when it stacks on all the other buffs. For team building, I highly recommend using her with M1 Yao Winter Solstice with Space Cowboy since Shadoka's manifestations, Davos, and other parts of the kit synergize really well with snipers. You can also use a shotgunner like Fenny Coronet or Lionheart as your main ballistic DPS, and that would be an excellent choice too. Ethereal Cloud is also a decent choice if you want to help her do more damage on single part bosses using the Kebeche as an additional part to target. Remember to aim for the enemy's weak spot, not the Kebeche if you're using her. Wild Hunt is also kind of an okay choice for a main DPS, but I definitely don't recommend using Absconditus or Hush since they're skill-based DPS characters. Keep in mind that Amarna Squad doesn't stack, so for your other support, you should choose Redacted with Navigator, Sunshine with Twilight, Coronet with Twilight, or Kaguya with Twilight based on who your main DPS is. So for overall thoughts, I think Shadoka is an SSS tier support because of her insanely good support skill that gives a pretty big multiplicative damage buff to ballistic DPS characters, especially at M5. Her summoned Kebeche can allow you to trivialize mobile bosses or bosses which have weak spots that are difficult to hit. She's really good for the new ranked Neural Simulation if you want to get high scores since her potential for damage increase is much higher than Kaguya if you're using Winter Solstice with Space Cowboy or Coronet as your main DPS. So, should you pull Shadoka? I think you should pull her if you have Kaguya already. Otherwise, you might want to wait for the upcoming Kaguya banner. He's a lot more of a universal support than Shadoka, but you really want to have both as supports for two different teams in this meta. Though outside of meta, Shadoka is absolutely adorable, so I pulled her on release because she's cute. I don't even care about meta when it comes to Mauxir. And yeah, that's it. I hope you found this video useful and have a nice day.